Okay, we're going to try to be on time with each of these sessions. So those of you who don't know, my name is Phil, and I want to just cover just a little bit of ground. And first of all, thanks for joining us. The folks in the back, make sure you raise your hand and Sage will say something because I'm going to try to focus on the camera so you don't see the back of my head. And I want to just lay out the groundwork of what we're trying to do here. First thing I want to give acknowledgement to, though, before we do anything, is Southern Colorado Innovation Link, SCIL, is sponsoring this along with Emergent Campus. And so Mark Medic is on the screen, and Mark is responsible for the leadership of pulling this together. And also Brad Rowland is very much involved with pulling this together. So we're here at Brad's campus, Emergent Campus, and Mark is joining us from Pueblo. So my personal thanks to both Brad and Mark for putting this together, and thank you for doing that. So just what we're planning on doing is we've got 6 weeks of sessions that we're going to be doing for this, and it's focused on entrepreneurship. And just a little bit about my background. I've got a business degree and a law degree. The business degree is a long time ago, as you might imagine, and the law degree as well at this point. But I've taught entrepreneurship a lot, and strategic planning and a bunch of other classes, business classes, for 2 universities and a community college. So this is something that I've done in the past, and I can tell you that I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship. And I'm very passionate about the people who take the risk of entrepreneurship and trying to do what they are, which is changing the world. And it may not be the whole world, but it's their world. And so however you would define your world, the opportunity is there to create something with entrepreneurship and to do that. So over the 6 weeks, I'm going to pass out the agenda in just a minute so you have an idea of exactly what we're going to be covering and how we're going to cover that. But one of the things that we're going to be doing is each session, we're going to have usually a featured speaker, and that featured speaker will take 15, 20 minutes and talk about a specific topic. Mark and Brad and myself have invited several people to do exactly that. And we want that to be part of it. But during that time period, it's basically a presentation as opposed to asking questions. So we'd ask that you hold the questions to the end, and we're going to record that. And so Sage is sitting here, Sage Goodwin, and is our person that's put all together the technology to make this work. And we'll be recording that, and we'll be using it on Emergent Campus's YouTube channel and possibly some other things as well. And after that period of time, no longer will we be recording. One of the things that the goal is for this is that we all have a chance to speak frankly about this, topics that we're covering. And so you shouldn't think at all that this is going to be recorded or anything else. You can speak freely. And we really want to foster camaraderie with these sessions as well. I can tell you that there is no subject matter expert for entrepreneurship, and I don't stand here at all as a subject matter expert. What I do stand here is I'm going to be facilitating and making sure that we have interaction as best we can and get that camaraderie going, because being an entrepreneur, being a business owner is not an easy task, and there's just lots of challenges with it. And so we'll do that. So what I'd like to do right now is, if you don't mind, I'm going to be the first one that gives that presentation. And then after that, I'm going to not be looking at the camera quite so much. We've got people in the room, and I'd like to be looking at them and giving them eye contact as well. And so we'll be doing the best with that we possibly can. So I'm going to go ahead and give that first presentation. Again, we'll be starting off each session with that. And then what I plan on doing is sharing the agenda. We've got that in digital form, so Sage is going to put that up on the screen so you all can take a look at it, and we'll work through that. And then I've got some other things that I want to have us work through as well. And I want this all to be interactive. So everyone here tonight should plan on getting their opportunity to speak, and probably several times. So it's just not going to be one person speaking to you. It's going to be all of us talking together and helping each other out, because I can guarantee that the group that's here tonight has much more experience together than any one person does, and certainly that would include me. I will say that I've been an entrepreneur in the past. I've also starting a business now, and I've got several projects that are going here in Canyon City. So I'm right there with you as far as startups and doing things with that. So If you don't mind, I do want to talk a little bit about that presentation. So Sage, I'm about ready to begin that part of it. And then after that, what we're going to do is everyone's going to introduce themselves. So we'll go right into that and we'll get a chance to do that. And we'll talk about the agenda and what we're trying to accomplish tonight. We will be prompt. So each night we're going to start right at 6 o'clock and we will conclude right at 8 o'clock. And we'll probably take a few minute break in the middle of it too. So we'll go from there. So Sage, I'm ready to roll.
Excellent.
Okay.
Bring it up now. Here we go.
Okay. So welcome. And I want to give an example of entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship, the way I view it is about creativity. It's something that you're creating something different for the world. And as I define world, it doesn't have to be the world, it's your world. And you're trying to create something that is really the best that can be there. If it's a restaurant, you're going to have the best restaurant with a particular menu that you have in your world. That's what that creativity is about and the chance to do that. There's also the business in a box, and I give full credit to anybody who wants to start that too, where you're a McDonald's and here's the way that you do it. So those are there. So if you're going to start that restaurant, more than likely you've had experience being a good cook, and being that good cook with whatever item it is means that you're going to be successful in a restaurant, right? And the answer, of course, is no, a big no. So people often have a skill that they plan on doing and it doesn't work. And so entrepreneurship, in my mind, is one of the most difficult things that you possibly can engage in. And every one of us ought to realize that as far as the engagement that we're going to deal with. So here's some topics, and you're going to, those who are joining us tonight, we're going to deal with it more. But here's some of the things that is beyond the food preparation that you have to deal with. You're going to have to deal with marketing. You're going to have to deal with branding. What brand am I going to put out there? How's that going to look like? You're probably going to have to deal with a business plan at some point. If you're going to get any loans at all from the bank, you're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to deal with capital. Where am I going to find the money for this? How about accounting and bookkeeping? That's something I got to deal with. And if I don't do that right, I'm going to get in trouble with lots of people, the people who invest, the IRS, all kinds of people. You're going to have to deal with leadership and management issues. You're going to have to deal with time. How much time do I put into this? I've only got 168 hours in the week, and often being an entrepreneur or business owner takes a lot more than the standard 40 hours a week. Work-life balance is something that you're going to have to struggle with. People do that. Product development. What is it that I'm actually doing for the customer? How am I putting it out there? Do I have any patents or intellectual property that is out there? And how do I deal with that? Again, a lot more than just the food preparation here. How about the legal issues that are out there? Creating the business, the risk of liability issues that are there. Business organizations, am I going to create a corporation? Am I going to create an LLC? Am I going to run it under my personal name? How am I going to do that? How about debt? Am I going to go into debt for this? If I do, how am I going to pay my bills? Is there issues there? If I have a partner, is there going to have conflict with that partner? Is there going to be partnership cohesion? Are we going to get synergy as a result of that? So 1 + 1 = 3 or 4, as opposed to just 1 + 1 = 2, or even worse, 1 + 1 = 1.5, or not even just the one. It's a problem. Where am I going to locate my business? What are the tax issues I have to deal with? How's it going to affect my friends? How's it going to affect my family? What's the competition that I'm going to be dealing with? How about what are my personal strengths? How do I handle my personal weaknesses in this? Because again, most businesses aren't successful after 5 years. Most of them go down. Is there government regulations I need to worry about? How about past activities? Do they impact me? Have I been through a divorce, or I've got criminal background that I'm dealing with? Does that come into play at this point? How about business name? I want to make sure that I got something that's going to work there. Overlap of personal and business life. Do they completely get fused together now that I'm a business owner or not? Understanding the customer. Any negotiations that I have to deal with? Do I need an elevator pitch? What's my tax ID number? Do I have liability concerns? Any non-disclosure agreements that I have to deal with? How about understanding financials? Do I actually know to deal with a balance sheet and all the things that are there? if I'm putting together a team together, how does that work? Are they all going to be employees? Are they going to be private contractors that work for me? Do I deal with consultants? Do I deal with freelancers? Do I put together a pitch deck? Do I need a website? What about the co-founders and partners? Am I going to deal with that? How about an operating agreement? What's my relationship with banking? How do I deal with contracts? How do I deal with leases for the space that I'm going to be dealing with? Do I buy real estate? Do I purchase it? And I've never done that from a commercial basis. Angel investors, how do I deal with those people? Do I have past failures that are going to be troubling me because I'm scared I failed once and I don't want to take a chance and fail again? And so that's an internal issue as a human being that we deal with. What about if I've lost other people's dollars in the past because I've tried a business and I've lost their money, and now I'm scared to go forward in the future because I had a bad experience with that? Does that weigh me down for being successful in the future? Customer service, all important customer service. How am I going to deal with that? How am I going to deal with it personally? How am I going to deal with it when other people are representing me and they get good customer service or they get bad customer service? How about attorneys? How many of those do I need? For what issues do I need them? What about all the things that I don't know as a business person? Public speaking. If I'm going to be public speaking with this, am I scared out of my pants to do that? Do I see the opportunities that are out there? Am I constantly looking for opportunities and dealing with that? Do I have a fear of failure that's holding me back dealing with this? How about bankruptcy? Am I willing to go through a bankruptcy because I've started this business? Or how about product obsolescence, that what I'm creating is a shelf life of 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 years. And all of a sudden what I've got my business and put into is there. And then there's the human stuff like loneliness. Entrepreneurship, business life can be a very lonely thing. And people take drastic measures when they're lonely. So how do you overcome that, or depression or isolation? These are all things that you don't realize you're going to be dealing with when you're going into business. How about mentorship? Can I find mentors for myself? I've never done this before. Where can I get the mentorship? Or lack of a defined path, because when you start down the road with entrepreneurship and business, there isn't a plan that somebody can say, okay, just follow these steps and you're going to be good to go. Early success can be almost the worst thing that can ever happen to you, because all of a sudden you think you've created the best mousetrap and your ego gets inflated. And I can assure you that many people have fallen because of early success in their life, and it gets to them. Or just the predictability of it all. And we, of course, just finished 2020. We're still in the midst of a pandemic. Who would have predicted that in 2019 that would happen? And again, that's a huge challenge for business owners and entrepreneurs. How about too many ideas and not knowing how to monetize those ideas? And we're just dealing with those things that we've got idea after idea, but we don't have the focus that we might have. Or macroeconomics, which is the debt of the government, the money printing that's happening, world global economies, that comes into play. Goal setting. How do I set goals? How do I celebrate wins? And what is a win that I can actually celebrate it? Do I have to deal with my company culture? What about the external culture? I'm trying to start something and the external culture in my area doesn't get there. Am I too old to start a business? Am I too young to start a business? Is there no one that I can talk to about this stuff? Again, back to the loneliness thing. Do I have the proper writing skills? What if I get bad reviews online? What if I only have one customer and that customer is moving away or going away? What's going to happen to me then? How do I fire people? Do I have fear of conflict that I'm going to be dealing with? Am I growing too fast for the company? What if I want to sell my company? Logistics, storage issues, or the fear that I am simply not up to this as far as what I have to deal with. Is there going to be an economic crash? Is there environmental concerns? What insurance do I need? What does success look like? And am I afraid of success? So again, you have this great menu that you put together as a restaurant, and you don't think at all that all those topics could come into play. And that's why I suggest that entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. It is something that is going to take all of our skill, all of our ability, all of our energies to be successful, because most people, frankly, are not successful with this. And so that's a quick overview of some things. It's not an exhaustive list by any means, but the last thing I want to say is someone who's done business in a rural area is that, or a small town, is we've got to be on our best game. I think people that maybe in Silicon Valley or a large city, New York or wherever, they've got some advantages that we just don't have when you're in a small town or rural area. And how we overcome that is we really need to be at our best game. And so I would encourage everyone to do that. So without further ado, I thank you for joining us, and we'll go from here to move on to the rest of the class.